Most builders are choosing their materials based on price alone. It's costing them far more than they've ever saved. A warranty that voids the moment the product hits the site, that supplier that ghosts you when something fails, and that defect bill that cuts into that margin you're trying to protect. The top 1% of builders don't operate like this. They assess materials on 3 non-negotiables. And price, well, that's the last of those. I'm Jono Anderson from Luxweld, and we've built Australia's most advanced Skylight flashing system for Velux. We build flashings that outlive their warranties and don't expire with them. Now, I've seen firsthand what separates the builders who struggle with defects for years from the ones who never get a callback. Today, I'm breaking down that exact framework for the best builders use to assess their materials. Longevity, warranty, true cost, so you can win more tenders, protect your margin, and never get burned by a supplier again. It was a few years ago, I was walking across a roof with a builder and a client trying to find a leak. They eventually, after some testing, we found it wasn't the skylight itself, it was the flashing system around it that had failed. And what hit me then wasn't the fact that it had failed, it's someone within 5 years ago, I just made a decision. They said, let's save a few $100s, let's use a cheaper product. And in that moment, they've created a bigger problem for someone else to sort out down the line. Then the original installer, well, they'd scampered and long disappeared. The manufacturer wasn't interested at all. They've got a nice tight warranty page to exclude them. And now you're left with the poor homeowner and the builder to sort out who's going to clean up this mess. Longevity isn't about how good a product looks on the install day, it's whether anyone remembers installing it 20 years later. You know, when we travelled through Japan doing some research on roofing systems and extreme weather, something struck me. Nobody talked about warranties first there. They all talked about products lasting for generations. Their mindset wasn't how cheaply and how quickly can we build this. It's how do we make sure that once it's built, nobody touches it again. And that completely changed how we think about designing products at Luxweld. You know, as a carpenter and as an apprentice, I was taught something really simple. If you can't see the work once it's finished, that's exactly where you should do your best work. Because nobody notices good waterproofing until it fails. Now, over 20 years I've been installing skylights, and I've seen various products fail from various different manufacturers. And the difference isn't whether a failure happens, it's what happens at that point and after it. Now, I've dealt with suppliers who just disappear, and suddenly it wasn't installed correctly. Did you follow page 47.3? Can you prove moisture wasn't already there? And before you know it, they're just all pointing fingers. There's no one actually trying to help you as an installer or builder find a solution. One company that I think deserves credit is Velux. We've installed thousands of their skylights, and whenever we've genuinely had issues, they're always there on the phone to help us. They've got a great tech team, and they've always helped us find solutions for the problems. And that's worth far more than a longer written warranty that means nothing. You know, one thing that surprises a lot of builders is some warranties are effectively over before the homeowner even moves in. The products are delivered on site, they sit in the weather, they get handled by multiple trades, they get modified, and suddenly if something goes wrong, well, they've got very well written warranty exclusions that become longer than the warranty itself. And that's not a warranty, that's just marketing. You know, when we designed Luxweld, we kept asking ourselves one question. If something genuinely goes wrong, how would we want to be treated? Because one difficult warranty claim can erase 10 years of trust. And I've watched builders spend weeks negotiating over $200-300 savings. And then 6 months, 12 months later, they spend 3 days fixing that saving that they've just made, sending carpenters, plasterers, painters back to a job, client meetings, supervisor time, travel time. That $200 saving, that very quickly becomes a $3,000 problem. People think that leaks cost money, and yeah, they do, but the bigger cost, it's your reputation. That costs even more. One unhappy homeowner will tell 10 friends, but one happy homeowner, they just quietly sit in the house and enjoy it. You know, sometimes you're not just buying a flashing, you're buying a reputation. The builders I admire don't try and be the cheapest. They try to be the builder who sleeps well at night without a long defect list. Because they know that defects, they don't arrive when you've got spare time. They arrive on the worst Friday afternoon, the day before settlement, or during the biggest rainstorm of the year. I started as a carpenter before moving into becoming a builder and then specialised in the Skylight some years later. I've now spent 20 years working with a whole range of products made by almost everybody else. And one thing has become obvious. The products that make us the money weren't the cheapest products. They were the ones that we've never had to go back to. That's why today, whenever we assess any product, whether it's one we manufacture or one we recommend, we ask 3 questions. Will it last? Will the manufacturer stand behind it? And after those 2 are answered, we ask, what's the price? Because builders don't make money buying cheap. They make money by avoiding expensive mistakes. Remember, the bitterness of poor quality remains long after the sweetness of cheap price is forgotten. If you want to find out more about how to protect your reputation and how to make things last longer, click the link below. Get in contact, give us a call. Have a great day.